Good afternoon to my honorable preceptors and examiners, and of my teachers. Today, I would like to present my scientific writing with the title of Success Rate of Corticosteroid Hormone Injections as a Carpal Tunnel Syndrome, or CTS treatment, for patients ages between 45 to 50 years old in Philadelphia Clinic, Flores and Andini. There will be 5 chapters in the scientific writing. For more details about what the basic picture of that each chapters will have, you can please refer to my scientific writing. First, let us start with chapter 1. Chapter 1, the background information of why I chose the title of the scientific writing. First, peripheral neuropathy is a damage to the peripheral nerve. It is very common, especially in office workers, like teachers and people who just type too much, or journalists and stuff like that. And carpal tunnel syndrome is one of the most common mononeuropathy. Mononeuropathy is a condition where there is damage to a single peripheral nerve. It is very alarming when your body does not move like how it used to 20 years ago, or even yesterday. So sometimes the changes don't come at the same time. Sometimes it comes one by one, starting from our arms, then goes to our legs, etc., etc. In the US alone, there's 1 to 3 cases per 1,000 people every year, or 50 cases out of 1,000 people publicly, with national health interview studies saying that women are more estimated to contract carpal tunnel syndrome, with a prevalence of 5% and men having 0.6%. Like many other conditions, carpal tunnel syndrome has many treatments, but which one is the most effective one? Today, I will discuss corticosteroid injections as one of the treatments. The problem identification of my scientific writing is, what is the success rate of corticosteroid hormone injections as a carpal tunnel syndrome or CTS treatment towards patients between ages of 45 to 50 years old in Philadelphia Clinic, Flores and Andini. And the problem scope and limitation is success rate of corticosteroid hormone injections as a CTS treatment towards patients between ages of 45 to 50 years old in Philadelphia Clinic, Flores and Andini. These are the problems that I will address and will answer in the scientific writing. First, what are the factors that cause CTS? Second, how is the process of a corticosteroid local injection? What are the advantages and disadvantages of corticosteroid hormone injections as a treatment for CTS? And the last is, what is the success rate of corticosteroid hormone injections as a treatment for CTS? These are the goals and benefits that you can get from reading and studying about my scientific writing. To know the factors that cause CTS, to know the advantages and disadvantages of corticosteroid hormone injections as a treatment for CTS, to know the success rate of corticosteroid hormone injections as a CTS treatment in Philadelphia. And last, and most importantly for me, is one of the conditions of graduation. And the benefits are obviously answering the questions that I've asked before. Now, we will move on to chapter 2, theoretical framework. The theories that I will take advantage of in the scientific writing. First, let's start with the basics. Because carpal tunnel syndrome attacks the nervous system, let's ask ourselves, what is the nervous system? Well, the nervous system, according to Dr. Ananya MD, is a complex network of nerves and cells that carry information from and to the brain to various parts of the body. While according to Human Body by Silver Dolphin Books, the nervous system is the body's control and communication system that comprises of the nerves, brain, and spinal cord. The nerves carry instant messages from the brain to every organ in the body and sends back a constant stream of data back to the brain to let them know what's happening inside and outside of the body. The nervous system is divided into 2 major subdivisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The latter, in which we will discuss more after, has 2 main functions. The first is the transmission of neural. First, stimulus is entered from the dendrite and goes all the way to the axon terminal. That is the basic of it, but for more information, you can please read my scientific writing or even go to the library because a lot of my materials are taken from our school library. And then, after it goes to the axon terminal, it connects again to the dendrite, forming a train all the way to the brain to let them know what is happening and to stimulate, which is involuntary moves that may or may not involve the brain. For example, blinking is a reflex and it does not involve the brain. The peripheral nervous system is everything that lies outside of the central nervous system, in which the former is only the brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is everything that lies beyond that, like the nerves in our arms or the nerves in our legs, etc. Afterwards, we will talk about hormones. Hormones, according to English Medical Dictionary, is a substance that is produced by one part of the body that is sent through the bloodstream to another part of the body to give it a certain effect to the body. And according to Human Body by Silver Dolphin Books, the hormone is the body's chemical messenger that gives the body particular effects to certain parts of the body according to where the hormone is going through the bloodstream. And the hormone functions, sometimes it is to assure growth or to cause, for my instance, corticosteroid is one of the hormones, and corticosteroid is for anti-inflammatory. That can be one of the functions for hormones. Next, we will talk about corticosteroid. According to National Health Service in UK, corticosteroid is an anti-inflammatory medicine that is prescribed to cure many conditions like asthma or rheumatoid arthritis and also carpal tunnel syndrome. Next, we will talk about injections. We hear the word injections a lot, but what is it? According to the online medical dictionary, injections is a form of forcing a substance to our body by the means of a syringe or a needle. Of course, sterile technique is maintained. We wouldn't want to have just dirty syringe inserted into our body because it goes to our bloodstream. Next, we will talk about the carpal tunnel and carpal tunnel syndrome. For more information that I have taken from webmd.com, the website of the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, and William A. Morrison, MD, please refer to my scientific writing. But for now, because I have a limited amount of time, I will discuss it through a video. This is a video from Nucleus Medical Media that I've downloaded from YouTube. You can check it out if you want to see it further. So, carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel is a narrow passage in the wrist, and it is formed by wrist bones on the bottom and sides, and a tough band of connective tissue on top called the transverse carpal ligaments. Muscle tendons and the median nerve pass through the carpal tunnel. The median nerve controls the base of the palm and the thumb, and it also gives feeling for the thumb and the following 2.5 fingers. Carpal tunnel syndrome is a condition where tissue swelling compresses the carpal tunnel, in which it compresses the median nerve. Over time, the compression of the median nerve can cause symptoms in the areas that are included from the median nerve. Carpal tunnel syndrome symptoms are usually pain, numbness, tingling, and weakness. Carpal tunnel syndrome has a few risk factors. For example, first is a smaller carpal tunnel, usually found in females or people with a genetic of having a smaller carpal tunnel. Wrist injuries can also be a factor, and other conditions that causes inflammation, fluid buildup, and nerve damage, such as diabetes, pregnancy, rheumatoid arthritis, obesity. An endoscopic procedure uses an endoscope, which is a tool that has a camera and surgical instruments. The endoscope is inserted, and they cut the transverse carpal ligament to reduce the pressure in the carpal tunnel. It is the same in both open and endoscopic. And in the end, they both get sutured up and then let to heal. That is the basic picture of carpal tunnel and carpal tunnel syndrome. Of course, if you you are experiencing carpal tunnel syndrome, to know the most affected one, because I'm still a student, I'm not in the very best position to say, please consult your doctor. Research methods. The place and time that I did it was written from August to December, roughly a little bit to January, at President Junior High School, and my residence at Bougainville Pramay 3, number 15th Street, Edwin, Chicago. The interview was done on 2nd of October 2016, and the research object is data based on the interview from Dr. Kenda, a certified neurologist from Philadelphia Clinic, Flores and Nepal. The research method that I have grabbed is qualitative method. All data are systematic, factual, and accurate. How I collected the data is first, literature review, from reading books and then comprising my own summary. Second is an interview with the doctor, and third is the case study, the patient data that I have gotten from Philadelphia infections because of it. This is an animation of local injection in which it is not perfectly accurate, but I have tried my best. So when the hand is feeling pain, the wrist is feeling pain, the doctor may suggest an injection, in which it is injected directly to the place where it has pain, in which here it is the wrist, because it has carpal tunnel syndrome. And sometimes, after the injection is done, the pain is still there. So what do? According to Dr. Kanida, the next time that you can be able to do it is 3 months after your previous injection. After that, the doctor may put another injection in which it may disappear. If it does not, you can continue the local injection, but if the pain is too severe, I suggest to do a carpal tunnel release, which is an operation. But if it's still mild, then I suggest a local injection instead. Thank you. And thank you for giving me your attention, and I will perfectly be fine with any suggestions that you have and advice, as long as it's constructive, of course.
Not 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Penguji?
That's only is the success rate of course it's your goal that you want to write in here. But the problem actually, yes, the background of the problem, you have to write it on your problem identification. After that you will be more what is short to the case, right? Like the problem scope in here, limitations, and then you have the formulations of the problem. Like this, I think it's okay, but I still, you have to maybe try to, what is about the problem identification, yeah. And then the formulations of the problem, what are the pages of the question is, do you know what is, hubungannya, connecting between formulations to the what is the result here?
Yes.
The result of your
Result
research. Yes. Do you know about that? And then you have to what is explain about this, right? In the result formulation of problem.
Okay.
Yes. Do you know about that?
The
Correlation between formulations of a problem to the result in chapter 4, right? Do you know about that?
Yes.
Only that maybe? Because this is time.
The correlation is in the interview that has been given from Dr. Candida, that I have asked her specifically about the formulation of my problem. For example, formulation of my problem, the first one is, I think it was to know the factors of carpal tunnel syndrome, like one of them is I've asked Dr. Candida, in which I have written in the chapter 4. Chapter 4, I have written about it in page 26. Page 26, I have answered about all of the questions in the formulation of problem. The one that says, based on the interview with Dr. Candida, we can answer the questions that were formed in the beginning of the scientific writing. That is the correlation between my formulation of problem and the result of my scientific writing.
With the game, you research why you take this research
why I
Of course, you
chose.
need a source from fluorescent.
Oh yes. My source is Dr. Candida. She works in Philadelphia Clinic, Flores and that is my source to get it because she is actually an acquaintance of my mother because she worked with my mother in Timur because they worked together while she was trying to get her, I think, practice license or something like that, and they met and they're acquainted, and my mother told me that she's a neurologist, and she told me because like she's acquainted, maybe I'm more comfortable with asking her. And when I asked her where she works, she said Flores and I'm like, oh my god, that is so far away. It's like the teachers are gonna ask me why I chose that far away. Well, the answer is that because my mother thought it would be more comfortable if I with someone that she knew. And so if I didn't have enough information, I can call up Dr. Candida again because I am close to her. So that is the reason why I chose Flores. That is my source to Flores.
Any other treatment maybe? Can you give me information about how to? What is it is a successor of
Corticosteroids.
corticosteroids. Any other what is treatment maybe? Beside of this injections?
Besides the injections, corticosteroid has forms like for inhalers and oral. Like
it is chemical, right?
Yeah, it is actually from it's a substance. It's like, it's really like just hormone, like testosterone and progesterone. It's the same thing as that, just that corticosteroid has another effects other than testosterone because of course every hormone has its own effects. It is actually from our adrenal glands, the two glands above our kidney. That is where the corticosteroid is actually from. But for the treatment, they're man-made.
For the CTS, okay,
Yes.
the CTS you can for the factors about the CTS you can traumatic, nervous, and blah blah again.
Yes.
So this is the correlation or connecting for about the psychology, the mental of the patient, I think. So that you can the proof of me, they have the injection is very important. That's right. Okay, so they have the correlations between psycho and have the medical. Okay,
Yes.
so please tell me about your proof of me. This is important for injection between correcting between oral treatment. Please.
Can you please just specify the question?
Okay.
Specific.
There is very important for injection. That's right.
Yes.
Injection is very big one of the success for the CTX.
Yeah, one of the biggest.
But the biggest success. So there is factor for the CTX is nervous, the mental is things,
Yes.
they have the traumatic things. There is the correlation is about mentalism. Okay.
Sometimes it is.
Okay. Sick is okay. So you can explain with me about what the important for because the injection is very important between therapy, between oral.
The important one is that oral treatment sometimes have very big side effects because, like I
Okay.
said, it goes through your bloodstream, and sometimes the bloodstream it goes to like places like that you don't want. Sometimes because you want it on your wrist, on your carpal tunnel. But sometimes when it goes orally, it goes through everywhere, like maybe even your other arm or maybe your legs and maybe even your inside organs. And sometimes, like I said, oral treatments have actually a bigger side effect. Of course, sometimes people don't want local injections because sometimes they're afraid of needles and stuff like that. And of course, if they're scared of needles, sometimes they're scared of operation even more. And I mean, I think oral treatment is also okay. It's not like it's very bad. But of course, injections is more important and more effective than oral treatment because oral treatment has such big side effects, and even though operation has also like advantages, sometimes if it's good, it's really good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. I mean, you're cutting something in your hand, like if it goes wrong, then you don't move at all. That means it's a permanent damage. That's why it's important for local corticosteroid hormone injections other than oral treatment, because oral treatment can cause kidney failure and other stuff like that, and it goes through your whole body. It can cause other side effects than you want. So that's why I think it's important.
Okay. The suggestion for you is
Yes.
important for your topics. It's very specific again for the flores, I think, because this combined for your data valid. Okay. I don't know if you have data valid in Philadelphia or who is the Philadelphia and anywhere flores in Philadelphia for that.
Yeah, I will specify it.
Yeah, okay, specifies. I think it's enough at least. This is the specification is at least. Yes, we can so the suggestion I have the flores and the
Philadelphia Clinic,
Momere, that's right. Yes. So,
I'm 75%
so
sure.
if you can have the data valid, next time we have to go to the flores to articulate.
Next time when if right,
But
right,
hi,
if I have enough time, I'll even ask the picture of the whole
yeah, it's
clinic,
very important
because,
for your
yeah,
doctor, and
because
then you can
I
show your
wanted, yes,
presentation.
I wanted to take a picture of the clinic and for Dr. Candida herself to stand in front of the clinic, but you know, circumstances, she went to Bali because her cousin died here.
I see.
And I mean, it was inevitable, but I already asked her interview, I already asked her patient data, and I couldn't just go to another hospital in a short amount of time. So yes, I will specify the location of it. So thank you for the suggestion. Refer to my scientific writing, read it all from the start till the finish, and you can also read from the library because I have that. And thank you for your suggestions. I will take them into consideration, and I will fix and revise my scientific writing, and I will come back to you with the nearly perfect scientific writing, and I will get the best scientific writing. I promise that.
Okay. Thank